Good morning, family. Just finished week 4 of The Artist's Way, and yeah, very exciting. Um, Currently not in Reno or Tahoe right now. Um, on a little getaway right now. So, um, we'll talk about morning pages for week 4 in a second, but week 3 we're going to talk about first because I missed last week, only because I dropped a music video instead of a recap video for Vintage Jeans. So if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. And the official music video comes out next week. But anyway, week 3, did all of the morning pages except for one day. I did it a little bit later in the morning, like not right when I woke up, just because something happened and I had to get something done. But yeah, did morning pages every day, which was awesome. So that was good. But in week 3, it was talking about recovering a sense of power, and using, I don't know, a lot of just being more self-aware of like things going on around you, so that you can kind of like convince yourself that you can do more than you think, kind of, is the way that I received it. The first thing Julia talked about was anger, and how like you always want to be, or I shouldn't say everybody, but most people, I hope, you want to be a nice, like you just want to be a good person. And so when you get an emotion like anger or mostly anger, if you get an emotion like anger, it's like what's like, does this mean I'm not a good person if I'm feeling like this much hate towards this thing or this person or whatever, right? But when you like stuff it and you like deny it, like she says in here, you're not listening to it. You're not like paying attention to what it's trying to tell you. So that was a really cool thing to think about this week. And just challenging myself to just be more open-minded with how I'm feeling about stuff. So yeah, kind of started off with that. So just being more aware of like emotions, but more focused on anger, and like what it could be telling me. So yeah, I didn't really feel like I noticed it too much. I don't feel like I'm a very angry person that often. And I'm trying to think back to week 3. It was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I don't remember feeling like that much of it that week, so I didn't really get to work on it too much. But I was more aware of how I was feeling and like the feelings that I did have. So that was, sorry about that. My phone just yelled at me for not having enough storage, but we deleted some videos. So anyway, the next thing that week 3 kind of talked about was synchronicity and basically how the universe is very efficient at answering like prayers, and when you ask for something, the world usually gives it to you. It's just a matter of if you actually act on it or not. And yeah, it asks if you experienced any during week 3, and I actually did. So I have been wanting to perform a lot more lately, just because I feel like I'm at the point where I can travel when I want to travel, and I feel like that was the main thing stopping me from performing before, because I'm not from a big city or a place where they have chances for my kind of genre to perform. There's not really a huge crowd for it, which I know is kind of a shitty excuse. I could just go, but I feel like that's something that deterred me a lot. And now I have a chance to actually travel, and so I've been wanting to perform more. And I actually had someone that I've connected with on Instagram tell me I could come play at a show in Vegas and go perform. So just go down there for the weekend. And that's pretty easy, pretty calm. So definitely gonna do that. So yeah, stuff like that, which is really cool to just like sit and pay attention to the things you're asking for and the things that you're actually receiving. There's also, Julia talks about how like artists, when you ask them how they made it and like what the steps they took, and they'll literally just give you a bunch of like lucky breaks that they got. Like I met this guy, and then that led me to performing in this studio where this person was, and then they took me to this, and step by step a bunch of weird things kind of just fall into place, and you're like, oh, they must have just been lucky. But it's because they're following their luck. They're like going for it. So yeah, I could totally say Vegas is too far and not go perform. But what if I go perform and somebody that I need to meet is there, or someone that I am supposed to meet is there that leads me to the next step. And yeah, so that was super cool. The week 3 tasks, I wasn't super on top of. I think I only did like 4 of them. Just because I'm about to move out. I'm moving into a new spot, so I've been like super busy with that. So I just was really focused on just getting the morning pages done on week 3, and not as focused on and getting my artist day done and all that stuff instead of the tasks. But I did the ones that I kind of felt the most like I said in week 1, like rejecting the most. But yeah, the tasks I feel like have just been super, super good at making me just recall things about myself that I kind of forget. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like as I've grown up, my sense of self just gets like thrown around kind of, like quite a bit, and it's hard to like remember what my core, not like hard to remember, but just like how did I feel about the world when I was like 12? How did I feel about the world when I was 8? And I feel like it's easy to just like, it's so hard to remember that, like what was going on in your life at 9 and shit like that, I guess. But what I'm trying to say is the tasks are really good at making you remember, like actually organize those events in your life, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, the week 3 tasks, the ones that I did. So first one was just, describe your childhood room, and you could sketch the room, so I did do that, and just recalling all the little details of like things in my childhood, reminding me of like what I was like, all kind of recovering a sense of power, but just like remembering who I am, kind of. I don't know, that sounds a little deep, but yeah, I hope that makes sense. I also did describe 5 traits you like in yourself as a child, list 5 childhood accomplishments, like straight A's in 7th grade or train the dog, list your 5 favorite childhood foods, and then, so those were kind of like more of the kid ones, like I was saying, but it goes into make a list of friends who nurture you, call a friend who you feel, who makes you feel like a really good and bright person, and just have a conversation with them. Was that the only one I did? Oh, and then the last one was list 5 people you admire, and then list 5 people you secretly admire, which I thought was kind of clever. And then write out the traits that those people have that you kind of want to build more in yourself. So I feel like those tasks were more of recovering a sense of power, and the other ones were more like just remembering kind of who you are and how you became who you are, and then it went into recovering kind of a sense of power. But yeah, that was week 3. The artist date, I just went out and played soccer for like an hour and a half, which was very calm. I bought myself a new ball, and yeah, so that was cool. So that was week 3. Week 4 is about recovering a sense of integrity. This week felt like I was a little bit all over the place. Like, on one hand, this felt, I don't know why the morning pages last week or like this week just felt like so tough to do. And then other days I was like really excited about reading. And this week was really unique because it's had reading deprivation as like the main part of it. So wasn't allowed to read at all week. Not watch the news and read all the headlines, not scroll on my phone for an hour and read through a million posts. And so there's like a bunch of different ideas on like what to do instead of reading. And yeah, so I was just like doing a bunch of stuff that felt like I should be doing something else, I guess. And so I don't know, I guess it just like kind of threw me on a roller coaster this week with getting stuff done. So I missed 2 days of morning pages. Yeah. I had friends visiting, so I wasn't home a ton, and I was very all over the place this week. But I feel like it's normal, and we're back on it, and yeah. So she even mentioned it in this chapter. I just saw it. In my years of watching people work with morning pages, I've noticed that many tend to neglect or abandon the pages whenever an unpleasant piece of clarity is about to emerge. So let's pray that's what it is. But yeah, what else other than the reading deprivation? Yeah, it kind of lists a bunch of stuff that you can do instead of reading, like watercolor, sort the closet, pay bills, write old friends, repot some plants, whatever. So I was just like trying to just find stuff to do this week. And then that was kind of it. So I'm just going to go into the tasks. And this was the only reading I was allowed to do. I did fuck up, and I did catch myself a few times like scrolling, and then I was like, shit, I'm not allowed to be doing this right now. But that didn't happen too much. But yeah, for the tasks, first one, describe your ideal environment, town, country, swank, cozy, 1 paragraph, 1 image drawn or clipped that conveys this. Write down your favorite season. Why is that your favorite season? Go through some magazines and find an image of it, or draw it and place it in your working area. So we did all that. I remember I have it in one of these pages, but I have no idea how I'm gonna find it. Also, kind of nuts how quick journals just fill up when you're actually using them, like for stuff. I've only really used journals to do like little gratitude things and then like writing music, but never like consistently every day like this. Even though I missed 2 last week, but we don't talk about it. But it's kind of nuts. I'm trying to find the environment one. I basically just described a beach house, but very, very cozy vibes and good bevs all around, good people all around, and yeah, close enough to nature to get away, but also close enough to the city to be around people when I want to be around people. And then favorite season, summer for sure. And yeah, the other task I did, describe yourself at 80. What did you do after 50 that you enjoyed? And you got to be very specific. And then write yourself a letter at 80 to yourself now. And what would you tell yourself? Yada, yada, yada. I kind of talked about I want to live on a sailboat. Either if I don't do it when I'm young, then I'm definitely doing it after I turn 50. Buy a boat and just live on it for a few years. Sailboat. I feel like that would be electric. So that was my thing for the second task. Number 3 was now remembering yourself at 8 years old, what you like to do, what were your favorite things, and then writing a letter from 8 to your current age. And yeah, that one was the one that most like made me remember, holy shit, how did I forget that about myself? How did I forget I like to do that or whatever? See if I can find it. But yeah, the biggest thing was science fairs. I forgot how many, like how hard I used to go for the science fairs at my school and like lock myself in my room and just like, and look up how to build something and then like just grind it out until I had like the most perfect project in my eyes. And then yeah, somehow completely like forgot about 3 different science fairs that I did. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then yeah, writing a letter to yourself at 8 to yourself now was calm. And then environment, look at your house. Is there any room you could make into a secret private space for yourself? And then it kind of talks about how to decorate it. And it's not to be like an office or anything. It says all you need is a chair or pillow, something to write on, some kind of little altar area for flowers and candles or whatever. And it's to help center on the fact that creativity is a spiritual issue, not an ego issue. So yeah, like I said, I'm moving into a new spot, so definitely try to make a space like that just to have like in the corner of the room or something. But and then it says to go back to your life pie. So like in week 1 where I kind of wrote out like I think it was like 6 different aspects, 5 or 6 of your life, and see where you're at in each part. And so it just says to visit that and check it out and see if it's changed a lot, a little. It says not to expect too much, but yeah. And then the last one I did was write your own artist prayer. So there's like a little prayer in the book. And it says use it every day. So like I just used the one in the book and just use that one every day. So yeah, those were all the tasks for right, those are all the ones that I did. Yeah, and then the last task was just talk about if you broke reading deprivation. So I kind of just wrote about me scrolling and not really realizing it, and yeah. So yeah, that's kind of it. Okay, my phone's gonna keep telling me I'm running out of storage, but yeah, that's it for week 3 and 4. And I will see you guys next week for week 5. Peace.